Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to the new year. I know I'm a little late, but it's better late than never. Today I am doing the January predictions. So what can we expect from this first month of the brand new year? I'm a little nervous and a little excited, so I'm going to go ahead and get the cards all laid out for you guys so you can take your pick and we can see what's in store. If you are new here, my name is Chelsea, and I really love to do tarot and astrology content, especially these pick-a cards, which you can probably tell just by looking at my channel. It's literally all I have. So I hope you like them. If you'd like to find me in other random corners of the internet, I will have all of my other social media links listed down in the description box below for your viewing and clicking pleasure. With that being said, I've already wasted enough time. I'm already late on the draw. January's here. Let's get into these predictions and see what is coming our way in 2020. All right, everyone, so here we have our 4 groups for January of 2020. What is in store for you? So go ahead, ask yourself that question, repeat it out loud or even in your mind. What is coming your way this month? And then once you're ready, we have group 1, group 2, group 3, and group 4 for all of you here. Now, for those of you that like utilizing a visual aid, for group 1, I have this chunk of amethyst. Group 2 has this chunk of raw rose quartz. Group 3 has this huge piece of just plain quartz. And then group 4 over here, I believe it's a combo of citrine and quartz, but that'll be here on group 4. Now, for those of you that don't like using visual aids, go ahead and fast forward a little bit. I'll have all of these cleared off so you can go ahead and pick without a distraction. But once you have your group all figured out, I will have the timestamps listed down in the description box below, along with any other relevant information you might need. So go ahead, take your time, and I will meet you there. Okay, so for those of you that don't want to use a visual aid, here we have group 1, group 2, group 3, and group 4. So go ahead, take your time. Once you've selected your group, I will have the timestamps listed down in the description box below for you all, and I will see you there. Okay, so for those of you that selected group 1, or the raw amethyst chunk here, I have your 3 tarot cards laid out for you, and then in a little bit I'm going to pull a whole bunch of oracle cards too to further clarify what I'm seeing here. So group 1, January, what are we dealing with? I want to start off by saying that for those of you that are familiar with tarot, that these 3 cards may be a little bit intimidating. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Devil, the 5 of Wands, and the 7 of Swords together. For January group 1, I do worry about confrontation, and I worry about like silly kind of petty fights. And for some of you, this may be that you're dealing with others who have some sort of jealousy towards you. And with the Devil here, that jealousy is going to be more destructive. And I worry because with the 7 of Swords here too, this can mean secrets, it can mean a betrayal, but there's definitely something shifty going on here with this card for you in January. And then the 5 of Wands, this is that petty kind of confrontational energy. They're all fighting with one another. And with the Devil here, I almost worry for some of you this could be a toxic relationship that you're struggling to separate from or break off of. And I want to clarify that this could be any type of relationship here, group 1. This could be a family relationship, it could be like a platonic friendship, or it could be a romantic type of relationship. If it is romantic, some of these fights you may be having with this person may be centered around this feeling of competition, like you feel like you have to fight for their attention, you feel like you have to fight for their affection, fighting for their time. You may not feel like the #1 person in their life, like you have to constantly be worried about who's going behind your back, who's trying to sneak their way in here, The other thing I worry about with the Devil and the 7 of Swords, if this is a romantic type of relationship or any type of relationship, the 7 of Swords can be associated with like infidelity or cheating or some other betrayal. It's just there's some sort of secret that's signified here with the 7 of Swords. This is secrecy. This is something that they're keeping from you. Now, on a more positive spin, I can also look at the Devil and the Seven of Swords group 1 as you breaking out of cycles this month. You may ditch a bad habit, whether that habit is, smoking or drinking or procrastinating, whatever this bad, destructive type of habit is, because that's what the devil is. Okay, these are people, substances, patterns in our lives that are negative and detrimental to us. So I do see this as breaking away from that negativity, and this could even be cutting off or letting go of this bad relationship or a toxic person. So let's go ahead. I have my oracle cards here. I'm going to go ahead and just throw some of these down. So the very first one I have here is the Aries full moon that says a fiery climax approaches. This card to me is again all about arguments, confrontation, but ultimately learning how to stand up for yourself. So this really confirms whatever this aggressive kind of fighting energy. I don't mean that you'll be physically fighting anyone in January group 1, but this could be verbal arguments and just like bickering. Because this is a full moon, this means that the emotions are like reaching a peak. This energy is coming to a head in January, and that's what this fiery climax is, right? So for some of you, you may feel or see this climax coming. Maybe you've been feeling off with someone for a while now, and it's just building up to January now, where you're finally going to have some sort of confrontation or try to work to resolve this issue. My next oracle card is going to be the Cancer full moon, which is a personal issue is reaching resolution. So that's exactly what I was saying. You're going to have this fight, you're going to get it all out of your system, and it will be resolved. With this Cancer full moon, I also want to point out group 1 that obviously emotions are going to be high. The full moon, emotions and feelings are going haywire. But because we are also dealing with Cancer here, again, just very emotionally intense type of situation. I'm also wondering though, because I see Cancer here, for some of you, this definitely is a more family matter, a family argument. Maybe you've been bickering with siblings, fighting with a parent or any other family member. But the important message here at the bottom, is that it will reach resolution. You will be able to solve whatever this confrontational energy is in January. My next card for you group 1 is going to be here with the 7th house. This is all about our relationships. It even says so on this card. So the 7th house is going to rule over all relationships, not just romantic ones, but also business relationships, like co-workers, any type of one-on-one interaction with someone else. This is the house of others. So definitely, again, that just confirms for me that this is someone else you're fighting with. This isn't a battle with yourself. This isn't lying to yourself. This is literally someone else or other people who are causing this conflict in your life. Here we have the Sun. So this kind of goes along with what I was saying when I pulled the Aries card about learning to fight for yourself, to stand up for yourself. This is acting like a leader. January may see you kind of stepping into this sense of personal power and feeling like enough's enough. I'm handling this situation. It's done. It's over. We're going to move on. This is like maturity and taking responsibility and really working hard to resolve this issue. You're tired of whatever this is in your life. My next card here is going to be Virgo. So right off the bat, group 1, I do want to point out that we do have Aries, Cancer, and Virgo all present now. So these may be signs that you have in your chart, or they may be very present in the charts of whoever you're fighting with or whoever is going to be very, very prominent in your life in January. But with Virgo here, this is all about doing what needs to be done, paying attention to the details. And it's even like, because Virgo has associations with our health, right? So it's almost like, you're dealing with this to do better by you. If this tension, if this drama, if this conflict, whatever this secret is that is causing you to fight with others, even if it wasn't a secret, if it was a betrayal, if it's just general negativity and toxicity, you're making this conscious decision here, like, enough's enough. I have to take care of myself. I have to do what's best for me. And that's why we're going to go ahead and confront this energy and work through it in January. My next oracle card is Discernment. So this is basically who is actually good for you in your life, who do you actually want and need in your life, and being more picky, more choosy about who you let in And that's all in order to avoid this from taking place in the future. January, I feel like for you, Group 1, is definitely like taking stock, taking account of who you have in your life, the energy that they are bringing into your life, and deciding, what's actually good for you and who needs to go. My final oracle card, Group 1, is going to be this one that says, take a chance on love. And it almost feels like this gives me a feeling of forgiveness, especially because I have Cancer right here as well. I don't feel you kicking these people out of your life or dealing with this situation and being like, that's it, I'm done, I hate you all. I don't feel hate solving anything here. This card, take a chance on love, viewing others through a lens or an eye of compassion and understanding is what's going to solve any drama or issues that you come across in January, Group 1. I do want to point out, looking at all of this, I do want to say for most of you, if you are fighting with this person, I do sense them as a male, or they just have very strong, like, masculine energy. And the sun, it's shining a light on ever this secrecy of the Seven of Swords here. January might drop some bombs for you, Group 1. For those of you that haven't been anticipating this or haven't been feeling this, if you're watching this right now, like, what in the world are you talking about? I don't feel any type of drama towards anyone. I don't feel like fighting anyone. No one's betrayed me. Keep in mind, this is for the whole month, okay? So some of these things might not take place until the very end, but the sun here, this is our biggest luminary, right? It is shining its light on your relationships, revealing any secrets or people that don't have the best of intentions for you. This is a month all about you deciding who is best for your life and who you want to stick around. Yes, there may be some arguments here, as we see with Aries and the Five of Wands. There may be confrontation this month, but I see it all working out for the best. And it's all in the interest of, taking care of yourself. Maybe you're someone who's always trying to make others happy. Virgo can have that people pleaser type of energy to it sometimes. So maybe you're always sacrificing yourself for others. And January is going to be, wow, it's really going to be revealing to you who actually has your best interests at heart and who's just petty and needs to go. This is definitely a toxic, negative relationship. I do feel you breaking free from that, or at least making concrete moves towards breaking free of any toxic relationships for the new year. Like, you're done. 2020, Group 1, for you, you're starting it off by removing who doesn't need to be there, who isn't good for you. So keep in mind, this is a very large general reading, so not all aspects may resonate with you 100%. It's also, depending on when you watch this, it's probably towards the beginning of January, so we have all month to see how this plays out. Don't get yourself worked up, don't get anxious. Just really pay attention to who you have close to you in January, what their motives might be, what their intentions are, and what you need to do for yourself in order to have a happy and healthy and successful new year. So thank you for watching, Group 1. I hope you were able to take the messages that resonated with you and just left the rest for someone else. I appreciate you checking out this channel, and I will catch you next time. All right, so if you are someone that selected Group 2, or this lovely raw chunk of rose quartz, these are the tarot cards that I've pulled for you for January 2020, okay? We have the Empress, the Nine of Wands, and the King of Cups all here. Now I'm going to go over these, and then in a little bit I have a whole stack of oracle cards I'm going to throw out as well, okay? So we can really clarify what exactly is going on here. So let's start by the first thing that comes to my mind, which is that for some of you here in January, this could be a representation of a relationship that you have. You may be the King of Cups or the Empress here. But what is standing between the two of you is going to be this Nine of Wands. And this is very like self-protective, defensive type of energy. So I'm almost wondering, for some of you, this is like a feeling of being used or taken advantage of in January that might have you a little defensive or protective of yourself. This could even be like a resentment, like you feel like you do so much and you don't get any return on that, or people don't reciprocate your actions or how you treat others. You know, if you're always doing the most, if you are giving out all of this love, you may feel like you're not getting any of that back, which is causing you to put some walls up here. And that could be something that you deal with in whatever relationship this is in January. I do want to clarify that this could be a romantic relationship, this could be a friendship, this could even be the bond you have with a family member. But there is just a bit of tension here, and it's in this kind of self-protective, defensive vein. Now, for others of you that aren't going to be dealing with relationship problems, this can also come and manifest as like creative or inspiration troubles. You may be feeling blocked artistically, but this block, this feeling of being stuck, like maybe you feel like you're in a slump, like you can't create anything new, you're not having these big ideas right now. This block is kind of like, I don't want to say the calm before the storm, but I definitely feel you, group 2, to be on the verge of a breakthrough or on the verge of your next big idea or creation. But there is something that might be holding you back, and it's almost with the King of Cups and the Knight of Wands. I wonder if some of you, and this could be for those of you dealing with relationship or creative troubles, I'm wondering if there's some sort of fear of rejection or fear of what others think about it that's kind of holding you back, not allowing you to be as expressive or to feel as free as you would like. There's just this weird fear of not being appreciated or rejection. So to clarify this for us, I have my oracle cards. So let's see what we got. Here I have the Scorpio new moon. Work through your fears. What did I just say? Isn't that funny when that happens? Okay. And plus, you know, the King of Cups is often a water sign, so it's double interesting that I have Scorpio here. This card is going to be all about paranoia, obsession, and so I think that's what this is. There's that paranoia, there's that fear that is keeping you from either, you know, mending this relationship or feeling whole or complete in that relationship, or it's keeping you from that creative breakthrough, that artistic inspiration that I was talking about. But on that same note, you know, Scorpio is often associated with rebirth, with this big transformation because of its connection with Pluto. So this also confirms for me that you are on the verge of some breakthrough, whether that's a breakthrough in your relationship or a breakthrough in your own creative pursuits and hobbies. There is a rebirth coming for you in January, where you're going to move past these fears, this paranoia, this feeling like you have to defend yourself or you're like one against many. You know what I mean, group 2? So let's keep going. My next card is going to be the Sagittarius full moon. Oh, and I want to point out one last thing about Scorpio though before I get going, that this is a new moon. New moons signify new chapters, changes, the beginnings of new cycles. So exactly what I was saying, that this 9 of Wands energy is coming to an end. You're going to be moving past that and moving into this Sagittarius full moon, looking at the bigger picture. You may be so focused on what is directly in front of you, so focused on small details that you are missing everything else. And there is an optimism and a positivity that comes with Sagittarius. And it's almost like these cards right now are saying, you know, don't miss the good things. If you are so focused on what could go wrong, you're like stunting yourself that way. Do you know what I mean? Count your blessings where you find them. That's something that just popped into my head right now. Count your blessings where you can find them. Don't be so focused on the negative. Don't be so focused on these tiny, tiny details that you get so caught up in those that you miss everything else that's going on around you. And you may even miss like opportunities that want to come your way because you're so focused on this fear, this paranoia, that you don't see anything else. Here we have Sagittarius again. So that's, you know, you may have Sagittarius energy, or there may be a person in your life that has a very strong Sagittarius influence that will be prominently featured in January for you, group 2. Well, this is all about, you know, wisdom, using your insights, not being afraid to kind of bust out of your comfort zone, get out of this cycle, and even try something new. You know, because Scorpio is so fixed that sometimes they can be a little stubborn and they don't like to branch out, or they get set in one way. And Sagittarius is like, kind of your solution here of saying sometimes it helps to get a different perspective or a fresh perspective, or to listen to what other people have to say on the matter in order to get that insight, in order to see what you aren't seeing. Oh my God. And my next card's going to be the South Node. Okay. So this is all about often our past lives, but it's realms that we've already mastered. The South Node is where we feel comfortable. It's where we feel at home. There can be anxiety when leaving this energy, but the important thing is that like this has set you up where you are right now, and it's a new year. We're in January 2020. Now's the time to break out of this, step out of your South Node, and explore other options and other opportunities. My next card here for you, group 2, is going to be the second house. The word patience is on here. And Sagittarius can move pretty quickly. They're pretty impulsive. So I would say with the second house, patience is important. But it also, this is your resources, your values, not only your material values, but also what you value in yourself. So I feel this getting built up in January. This may be a big focus for you. Maybe you're nervous about this creative project, for those of you that are on that end of the reading. If this is a creative project, maybe you're worried about it not making any money, or it's not appreciated or valued like you value it. But with this card here, I do see financial improvements for you in January, financial opportunities for you in January. And this is almost like feeling more confident as well, like believing in yourself, basically, as corny as that may sound to you, group 2. There's this like swell of self-confidence that's coming in January for you. Aw. And then here we have this card. I don't know where to even put this. I'm just gonna throw it on top. It says blossoming. So this is really just a really pretty card about coming into your own, feeling more secure in who you are, and kind of understanding yourself better in January. Now, because it's blossoming, I also feel like this would go perfectly with what I was saying about the relationship. Once you move past this 9 of Wands energy, your relationship can really bloom again. And this can also, of course, refer to our creative people here in group 2 as well, where you get your inspiration back. Your artistic muse may blossom again, so to speak. And here we go. This card right here, my final card for you, group 2, for January, is going to be relationship patterns. And it says it takes strength to recognize the need for change. So obviously this is what needs changed. If this isn't working, if this is a relationship issue for you, group 2, in January, you need to recognize that one of you or both of you have this kind of self-defensive, self-protective energy up there, are walls. You need to figure out where these walls are coming from. If this is a pattern you've dealt with in your relationship before, work through the fear. Sagittarius is all about change as well. So it's time to shift some things in January. If you want this to improve, something needs to change. And for a lot of you, I think you know exactly what that is. If this is for my relationship people. I can't even pick this card up. Let me see if there's anything else I'm getting here, group 2. I'm wondering, because I have the South Node here as well, some of these patterns, I hate to throw out karmic. People are probably like, what are you talking about? You throw it out all the time. But I hesitate to throw out that these are karmic patterns that are brought over. For some of you, they very well may be. But since the South Node is often associated with our past lives and where we feel comfortable, yeah, something needs shook up here. It needs to be shaken up. These patterns no longer serve you. Maybe for some of you, if you're the one feeling defensive or like you have to stand up for yourself, or that everyone's, I even see this as like looking at you funny. This bandage here on the 9 of Wands, I don't know if you guys can even see this, but there's a bandage over his head here that represents kind of like, I want to say psychic wounds, but subconscious wounds. That's what we'll say. It's kind of like subconscious wounds. And so I'm wondering if you've developed this tendency because you've been hurt before, or maybe even hurt in past lives. And so you've brought this tendency over to this life or over into this relationship, and that is the pattern that needs to be broken. You know, you can feel secure, you can feel stable and taken care of right now, all right? It's okay to let this go. You don't need to defend yourself here. I don't see anything malicious about this person. I don't see their intentions as being bad. It's just there's some walls up here between the two of you that need to come down. And for those of you that, this was applying to your creative slump, again, I see all that changing for you too. I see you on the verge of your next big breakthrough. So I hope this resonated for you, Group 2. Please keep in mind that this is a very large general reading and not all aspects may resonate with you 100%. It's important to just take what does and leave the rest for somebody else, okay? I want to thank you for checking out my channel. I appreciate you guys being here, and I wish you nothing but the best in the new year. Thanks, Group 2. All right, so for those of you that picked Group 3 for January, or you went with the very large, clear quartz chunk, here I have your tarot cards. We have the Four of Cups, the Nine of Swords, and the Page of Cups. So I'm going to go over these first, and then I have a whole fat stack of oracle cards that I'm going to go over as well to further clarify what we get for you here in January. So this Nine of Swords kind of being in the middle here, there's almost like a kind of gloomy mood that is permeating this spread. This card is all about nightmares and worries. Some of you may deal with insomnia in January, but there's definitely just a lot of like fears and uncertainties that may be plaguing you. But with the Four of Cups and the Page of Cups here, I want to point out that these uncertainties, these doubts and fears that you may be dealing with this month, they have roots in the mind and in the heart. So I don't know if a lot of these concerns you have are actually grounded like in reality. Does that make sense? I don't know if they're actually things that are worth being upset or anxious over. I feel like you may have built them up in your mind, or if it's just like a strong emotional reaction to something. The good news I'm trying to say here is that it may not be something worth getting so anxious and upset over. The other thing I want to point out here is that if this is you here in the Nine of Swords, we have on both sides of you, cups are being offered. This tells me that there are people here willing to help you. They may offer advice or guidance, but of course it's going to be up to you to take those. But just keep in mind, there's a lot being offered to you in January. It's just, you're gonna have to remove these hands from your eyes. I don't know if you can see on this card, but she's got her face covered. You just need to uncover your face and look and see what is being presented to you. I do feel, Group 3, that January has you very contemplative. You may feel more introverted, maybe introspective. It feels like a very quiet time for you, Group 3. I don't see a lot of crazy partying. I don't see, these big social events for you. It just feels more like a month of you tapping into yourself, getting reacquainted and refamiliar with your own heart's desires, what makes you happy, maybe thinking about how you could pursue that. This isn't a month of action for you, Group 3. This is a month of thinking things over and figuring out what you need to do to get where you want to be. That is what I'm seeing so far. I'm going to go ahead and pull out my oracle cards now. So my first oracle card I'm going to put over here is the first quarter moon that has the message, your commitment is being tested. So this kind of goes along well with what I was saying, that you are in a period where you're not quite there yet. You're almost there, but more effort is needed. This is kind of like if we were considering a yes or no question. This would be a yes, but not yet. I also feel that this goes along very well with the Nine of Swords in the sense that I feel like there may be a lot of challenges and tests, maybe some obstacles thrown your way this month. And you're going to be exactly that. You're going to be tested and asked, how bad do you want it, whatever it is. If this is a relationship that you're so stressed out about, a job, an education opportunity, whatever it is that has you up at night or so consumed and worried. This could even be like, oh my God, this is the new year. What's my next step? What's my next move? What am I doing with my life? I just got plagued with all of that just now, Group 3. So this is a card that's basically asking you, how bad do you want to succeed? How bad do you want it? You can get there. You're almost there, but more effort and more time is needed. It carries this message as well that You need to weather through any storms that come your way. So those challenges, those obstacles, stand strong, stand resolute, kind of dig your heels in, tough it out for right now, and look at those complications, look at those obstacles as stepping stones that's going to take you the rest of the way. My other card here, group 3, is going to be the Virgo new moon, which says a time to give rather than take. This card, I feel like, is the perfect companion to what I was saying about needing to consider where you are, where you want to go, or where you want to be, and how are you going to get there. Because Virgo is this sign of planning, of details. This truly is a month of contemplation for you, group 3. It's like a planning month. This is like a staging month for you. Getting things all laid out and deciding which route is meant for you, which route do you want to take right now. The other thing I'd like to point out with Virgo here, group 3, is that this is a sign that has associations with our health. So I do see health improvements. Because we have the 4 of Cups here, I'm almost wondering, some of you may be trying alternative healing therapies or remedies. You may be getting interested in meditation more in January, okay? That's something that is associated with the 4 of Cups as well. So these could be health changes and improvements, trying something different, whether that's meditation, whether that's acupuncture, whether that's sound therapy, whatever it is, it might be a little different than just going to your doctor for a checkup. It's like you want to take your health into your own hands. This can also mean things like just recommitting to a routine, especially after this holiday season. A lot of us have been thrown off, or we've just been kind of in this weird liminal time period where things don't really seem real. This card is here to tell you that now's the time to get back into a routine, establish a routine for yourself and commit to it. Your commitment is being tested. Recommit to that routine. Recommit to your health goals. If you've made resolutions about eating cleaner or getting back into the gym, now is the month to really go for it. This is a month of you working on yourself and kind of getting back into the swing of things, getting back on track. What other cards do I have here? This is my North Node card. So in astrology, if your South Node is your past, where you feel comfortable, it's like the realms you've mastered. The North Node is very new to you. It may be a little uncomfortable because it is something new, but this is often associated with our destiny, like where we're meant to be. And the messages on this card, just say to have faith, stop worrying about it. Now is the time. I also want to say I have Scorpio here. This is a card of rebirth, of inner power, of willpower, that inner strength that we all have. Tapping into this. And I also, Scorpio can be a bit secretive sometimes, so they might prefer to keep to themselves. And that, again, is the same energy I've been getting from all of this so far, is that this is a very introspective, I want to say like a loner type of vibe for January, but just getting back in touch with yourself, getting yourself where you need to be this month to, set the stage for the whole rest of the year. Here I have the 9th house. This is my card of travel. It's also my house of higher education and like philosophies and beliefs. It could even be associated with religion sometimes. So when I see this here, some of you might have fears, just going off of the 9 of Swords, the Page of Cups, and the 9th house. Some of you in group 3 may be in long distance relationships, and that may be feeling strained or difficult right now. And with Scorpio here, it might be something that you're obsessing over, that you're thinking about a lot. You can't quite get these thoughts out of your mind. Even if you're, not having thoughts about a relationship or dealing with this type of relationship, this still, Scorpio and 9 of Swords tells me that these thoughts kind of get stuck in your head, like overthinking, overanalyzing, because we do have Virgo here as well. You're just really stuck in your head in January, and that's where this meditation and these different ways of trying to take care of yourself may really come into play. Of course, I love seeing this card here in January because a lot of us are going back to school in January after the holidays, recommitting ourselves to our education. That may be a big theme for you. If you're working on yourself, you're also, trying to take those next steps in your education as well. Here's this card, Resilience. You know, she's really going through in this card. She has a very heavy load. It reminds me almost of the Ten of Wands, just feeling burdened, but you know, Resilience here is saying that you have what it takes, stick with it, you're almost there. Again, same thing with this Commitment card here with the first quarter moon. Just tough it out, it's not forever. And then finally, oh, here's my last card. I don't even know where to put it, probably right over here. It says love endures. It says love does not give up or lose faith. Love is hopeful and withstands every situation. So again, if you are worried about a relationship, because of these two up here, Page of Cups and Nine of Swords, if you've been worried about a relationship, this is saying, you know, you don't need to be, because you're weathering this storm, right? Love stays hopeful, love stays strong. If you're worried now, you don't have to be for long, you won't be for long. Overall, Group 3, I'm seeing this month as, obviously you have these worries, you have these doubts and these concerns, but with the North Node here, I feel like this month is really setting the stage in order for you to pursue your calling. The North Node is like your life purpose, your life path, where you're meant to be and where you're meant to go. This whole month of January is setting the stage for you to get there. And it can be nerve-wracking, it can be worrisome because it is so new. It's probably as nerve-wracking as it is exciting. But even the message on this card says there will be success. This is a very positive card to have here. You just need to tough it out, you know. Resilience, keep carrying that load even when you're tired. Keep pushing through. So that is what I am seeing here for you, Group 3. Astrologically speaking, I'm trying to think, this Page of Cups is typically a water sign. Four of Cups has water energy as well, and we do have Scorpio. The other sign I have here is Virgo. So you may have a water sign or Virgo energy, or someone else in your life may have those signs in their chart, and they just may be like prominently in your life this month. But that is what I'm seeing here. Please keep in mind that these are very large general readings, so not everything may resonate with you 100%. It's important to take what does connect with you and then leave the rest for someone else. I also want to say, you know, typically we're probably watching this in the end of January, so if you're like, this doesn't make any sense right now, keep in mind you have the whole month ahead of you, okay? I appreciate you checking out this video. I love reading for you all. I wish you nothing but the best for this new year, and I will see you next time. So for those of you here that have selected Group 4 for your January reading, or if you went with this citrine quartz combo here, the tarot cards that I have pulled for you are going to be the Ace of Pentacles, the Four of Wands, and the Page of Swords. So I'm going to go over these, and then afterwards I also pulled a whole bunch of oracle cards that I'll throw down, and we can use those to clarify what's going on here for you. So let's start, just generally speaking, the Ace of Pentacles here is going to be talking about new opportunities, particularly ones surrounding education, career, even health. It can refer to relationships, but I'll get into that here in a second. The Four of Wands, this is my home card. It's like your environment where you feel comfortable. I also, I know this card can be associated with like celebrations and happiness and events. And then over here with the Page of Swords, this is almost like impulsivity, kind of running into situations, maybe not thinking about it all the way through. So when I see these together, first thing I want to point out just right off the bat, Ace of Pentacles and the Four of Wands, this reads to me as a business success. So if you've started your own business or thinking about doing so in January, I see that working out really well for you. This could even be a new career, possibly like a promotion, or just taking on more responsibility in your job. But I do see, I mean, this is a money, 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 honey card, okay? So I do see that coming your way in this new year. Like I said, this can also be associated with health and fitness changes. So I do see, especially with the Page of Swords here, you may, you know, your resolution may have been to eat better or get back into the gym, which I feel you, I will see you there. This card is just saying that that may have a positive influence on you in January and kind of like feel good doing that for yourself. The other thing I will say though, because I have the ace and the page here, I worry about possible overspending in January. Maybe you got a whole bunch of money for the holidays and it's burning a hole in your pocket. Just be careful and be aware of that. Maybe buying things you don't necessarily need. I am 100% all for treating yourself as long as you're doing so as responsibly as you can, all right? Now, group 4, what I said about committed relationship. I don't typically see this as a relationship indicator, except that I also have the 4 of Wands here. So this could literally be a committed relationship since this is home. And since this is also celebrations and like big events, this could even be a wedding or an engagement. If it's not you getting married or engaged, this could be someone else that you know that's either having a wedding or maybe they were proposed to over the holidays. This just signifies to me that there is definitely a committed relationship here that's taking this front and center stage in January for you, whether you're attending because it's your own or if it's someone close to you. I do see some sort of party. So it could be like an engagement party, a literal wedding. Now, the other thing I want to point out with these cards, all of them together, this reads to me, getting real specific here, group 4, some of you might be really embracing a more artistic type of vibe, and in the spirit of that, I see some of you here in group 4, you may be going to a concert in January or even like an art museum, really trying to kind of surround yourself with the hobbies and artistic pursuits that make you happy and that you enjoy. I also, I said this card is all about being impulsive, maybe jumping before really looking. And although that can sometimes be kind of a bad thing, just taking risks without really considering the consequences, I do see these risks paying off for you in January. I don't know about the whole rest of the year if you just decide you want to live your life like that. I don't know. But for January at least, I do see it being like opportunistic risk-taking or like optimistic risk-taking. So if there's something you've been thinking about doing, you're like, I don't know. These cards just say, go for it. Give it a try. Now is the time to try it. So let's go ahead and take a look at my oracle cards here and see what else we have. I love this. I have this Taurus new moon card that says prosperity lies ahead. This card is basically saying, in conjunction with the Ace of Pentacles, that now is the time to create some sort of financial plan for yourself. If you haven't already, this could be as simple as making a savings account for yourself if you haven't already, or being more consistent about putting money into that account, putting money aside. For those of you that really like to plan, my earth signs, even, some of my air signs here, you might want to make like an Excel spreadsheet, really going over your expenses and income, just whatever that means for you. Go ahead, really take your finances into consideration this month. Make a plan for yourself. I see it paying off for you down the road. It's kind of like abundance can be yours, right? Prosperity lies ahead. It can be yours, but now you need to plan for it. You need to prepare for that. Now, Taurus is also ruled by Venus, similarly to Libra. So again, I said I didn't really associate this card with relationships, but because we have this Venus sign here, it's definitely confirming the romantic possibilities this month for you. This could very well be you that's getting engaged or just really committing yourself to a relationship. But because I have the new moon here, for some of you here in group 4, this is committing to a new relationship. This is a new chapter, a new cycle. This is someone new entering the picture that you're committing yourself to. For some of you. For others, it's just the next step in the relationship that you're already in. Now, my next card is going to be the opposite of Taurus. Literally, in all ways. This is my Scorpio full moon card. It says it's time to release negativity. This card kind of carries the message of stop worrying over things not in your control, because these are both fixed signs here. The fixed sign archetype is being stubborn, being set in your ways, wanting to have control over everything, especially Scorpio really likes to be in charge. So having that sign there, stop worrying over things that are out of your control. I also want to point out that this card can mean to purge. So if that's purging negative relationships or toxic people out of your life, it could even, if we go along with the health messages that I had up here, it could be, a a purge of pop or soda or a purge of junk food. Just getting rid of the negativity in your life this month, focusing on you, focusing on this really optimistic energy that we have up here with these tarot cards. The other thing that comes to mind with Scorpio, and it will be to nobody's surprise, Scorpio can indicate, especially because it's a full moon here on this card, this could be some steamy, sexy time, especially because we have Taurus here, which I said was a new relationship or committing to an old one. There's just a very, this card can denote like a physically intimate time for some of you here in January. My next card, going off of what I literally just said, the 5th house is our house of romance, of fun, of art, of creativity. It's even a house of children, but it's also a house of sex. So these two going side by side, not surprising, especially if we're having this engagement or this commitment to our relationship. This is having fun, enjoying yourself, and there's that physical intimacy as well. Aries, I love seeing with the Page of Swords, this is that same impulsive type of energy, that willpower, that inner strength. Aries is of course a cardinal sign, so it likes to take initiative. It can be very ambitious, and that goes along with what I was saying about a possible, career education opportunity. This is like seize that, seize that, and it's like you don't even have to think about it, right? Because I said it was going to be kind of an impulsive time for you in January. Just if you're presented with that opportunity, Aries says take it. Now, my next card being Saturn here. Saturn is about limitations, being realistic. It is often present to teach us a lesson. I do want to point out, Group 4, we do have the Saturn-Pluto conjunction happening on the 20th of January, I believe. Some of you might even be having that conjunction in the 5th house. Wouldn't that be wild? But this Saturn card tells me that you're being shown what, it sounds weird to say what you're capable of in January, but what exactly you are able to achieve. Setting those realistic goals for yourself. This is like just a very responsible energy. So even though you may have made some impulsive decisions in January, I feel like it's all teaching you how to be responsible, make these decisions for yourself, act for yourself, and eventually, this carries a note of maturity with it as well, Group 4. So I wouldn't even be surprised if, for all the relationship messages I've gotten here, this is also kind of independent almost. You're making those money plans for yourself, you're making these career or education choices. I could even see this playing out as you being impulsive in the beginning of the month and maybe shifting to a more responsible or cautious outlook at the end. Very interesting that we have like those two polar energies here in this spread. But my next card is going to be creation. I love seeing that with the ace and also with the 5th house. Like I said, rules over fun things, our hobbies and our creative pursuits. This, I feel, when I said you might go to concerts or go to art museums, you want to get more involved in these artistic hobbies and these creative pursuits. I see that for you, and it's coming up again here. Especially, if your business is something a little more artistic or creative, that is going so well for you in January. Don't be afraid to create, get those new ideas out, get these things out in the open, out in the public eye. Not only will you have fun doing it, I also see you making money from it. And my last card here, Group 4, is going to be this oracle that says, I'm gonna throw this over here. It says demonstrate love. It says find out what is important to those you love and then act on that. So again, demonstrate love. If you're getting married, I think that is a huge demonstration of love. Or if you're getting engaged, if you're going to parties with this person, the 5th house is all about love as well. And then we had Scorpio with that physical intimacy. There's just a lot of acts of love and affection in January for you, Group 4. And that's so pretty. I love that. I love that for you. You love to see it. So take that message as you will. Demonstrate love in your life for January. The love that you put out there is the love that you get back. So anyway, that is what I'm seeing for you here, Group 4. This is what I think is in store for you in January. Of course, keep in mind this is a very large and general reading, so not all aspects may resonate with you 100%. It's important to take what does and then leave the rest for somebody else. I also like to remind people to keep in mind that, you know, you're probably watching this towards the beginning of January, so if you're like, none of this is happening right now, we have a whole month to see how it unfolds, right? So I appreciate you checking out this video and for stopping by my channel. I love reading for you all. I wish nothing but the best for you in the new year, and I will see you next time. The Virgo new moon card is here. Oh God, crazy.